Jesus has never been a one-man show. Jesus reveals today and just kind of reinforces this truth, this reality that he only works with the Father. He only does what he sees the Father doing. He says he cannot do anything on his own. That I judge as I hear, and my judgment is just because I do not seek my own will, but the will of the one who sent me. Jesus is consistently pointing us to the Father. One of the reasons Jesus came as an incarnate among us was to reconcile us to the Father, that we might see the face of the Father through him. He says that. He says that to Philip. He says, have I been with you so long that you don't know who I am? Anyone who sees me has seen the Father. And we tend to want to rely on ourselves a lot in our lives. Jesus relies on his Father, and that's our example to follow, but we tend to want to rely on ourselves. We feel like it's all up to me. That's one of the hardest things I have to do in my life, and one of the things I fail at probably most consistently is just to do things but with the help of God and not trying to do it all on my own. You know, there's this beautiful prayer that comes up in the Liturgy of the Hours that sometimes comes up at Mass as well. And it says that, Lord, may everything we do begin with your inspiration and continue with your help and be brought to completion with your grace, or something along those lines. But basically that all that we do, might it begin with God and be helped by God, and that we might surrender to God's will in it. That we don't do anything for ourselves or on our own. And this is a hard thing to do because it can feel like we're all on our own. I think a lot of times we don't want to trust in God because we don't really know that he's going to be there for us, or we don't trust that he'll be there for us. That's a hard place to be and a hard thing for us to admit, but I think it's true on some level. If we look at the way that we act, we can see that that's true. Yet, why does God want to have us trust in him? He knows that he is the greatest good for us. And we have to know that we can only do anything good by his inspiration. If we don't trust that God is with us and for us, that's a hard thing. But look at the words today of the prophet Isaiah in our first reading. God is telling his people to trust in him. And he says, do you not believe that I will do all of these things? He says, look at a mother. Can a mother forget her child? And we know that a mother can never forget their child. Even if they've given up a child, mothers have that sense, that knowing, that ache in their heart for their children. But God says, he says, even if a mother would forget, I will never forget you. God is always with us, always for us, always there alongside us. So let's trust in the Lord today, knowing that he will help us, that we don't do anything on our own, because it's the Father who leads us and guides us. And by his grace, we too can become saints.